Hello, good morning. It's Thursday, it's 9 o'clock. I'm Victoria, Derbyshire. Welcome to our programme. Next, a mother has described the distress of discovering her baby son had been circumcised without her consent. The woman from Nottingham said she opened her son's nappy to find him covered in blood and was so distraught she had to leave the room. She, for 4 years, has been trying to persuade the authorities to take action. 3 people have now been arrested, including a 61-year-old man, thought to be a doctor, on suspicion of grievous bodily harm with intent. The boy was circumcised in July 2013 when he was 3 months old and apparently staying with his paternal grandparents, who are Muslim. We're not going to talk about the details of the story because it's going through the courts, but we can talk to Richard Dunker, who is from the campaign group Men Do Complain. Hello to you, Mr. Dunker.
Hello.
What is your own personal experience, if that's okay to ask?
I'm a victim turned activist in that I was circumcised as a child, and I've had psychological problems throughout my life.
As a result of the circumcision?
I believe so. Of course, I'm just an anecdote, and there isn't another Richard out there who hasn't been circumcised, so we've got no possible control. But that is my story. I've sought psychological help along the way, and until I met the charity 15 Square, I thought I was probably mad and alone. I'd fallen off the therapy treadmill in that I just didn't believe what I was hearing, that this can't possibly be a problem. From inside my own head, I knew it was a problem. And
can I ask how old you were? Sorry to interrupt. When you were circumcised?
I believe I was a week old.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that I started the group Men Do Complain because it's a very difficult thing for a man to complain about this, and in that you have to first admit that there's something wrong with your genitals. You then have to challenge your parents and their decisions, and if you come from one of the cutting cultures, you have to go immediately against the dogma of that culture and to question those in authority in your community. So that's 3 very high bars that a man has to get over to complain about this. But I think we need to turn it round and look at this from the child's perspective. And in society, we set a very low bar for child protection. You only have to take a look at the Tattooing of Minors Act, where we don't tolerate a mark on a child made by ink and a pen. And the irony is that if you were to tattoo a child's penis, then you would be in court. But if you cut a bit off, fine, have a cup of tea, go home, well done. It's actually a nonsense, and the harm is not always obvious when the child is young. The problems that can develop later in life, there are people who grow up with twisted, distorted penises, skin tags, bridges, all kinds of things, and there have been deaths, even in the UK.
Male circumcision is legal in this country if both parents consent, is that right?
Well, I don't think it is. I would dispute that, in that it's a healthy child that is cut, and any cut through the full thickness of the skin is a wounding under the Offences Against the Person Act. And if there is no disease, and we're all agreed that these are healthy children, then there is no medical defence. It's completely inappropriate treatment, and
Should it, sorry to interrupt, Richard, should it be viewed then in the same way as we view female genital mutilation?
I think that's a very valid point of view, in that the French, who've had successful prosecutions for FGM, quite a few of them, they've used their civil code, their perfectly ordinary law. They haven't felt the need to resort to constructing a special law for it. And I think possibly in the UK it was a matter of strategy, that if they could separate FGM, then they might make some further progress. But to bundle the whole thing together would be too complicated to make any progress.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Richard Dunker from Men Do Complain. Thanks for your time.